Like yourself, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. When the mind tries to run away from that, bring it back and start saying, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. In between, you hear a sound from somewhere coming, or a smell, or anything that is distracting you. Let that also join in the same parade of breath, and you are the witness, you are the standing by passenger who's watching the parade going on the road. So, Hari Om, we are going to go to chapter 2, and Anil said we have to do shloka number 22. So, apparently, you guys have finished up to shloka number 21. The chapter 2, name for the chapter, every chapter, all the 18 chapters have a name. Name for chapter 2 is Sānkhya Yoga, means the chapter Yoga of Knowledge. Sānkhya is the knowledge, logical arguments. So in this, Sānkhya means the logic of thought in a philosophy. That's what it means here. Because we are, Bhagavad Gita is a text of philosophy, Indian philosophy. And very name philosophy means we have to know what other philosophies do we have in our Hinduism or Sanatan. So there are 6 schools of philosophies, and Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, Sankhya, Nyaya, and all those different 6 schools. And Sankhya itself means the philosophy, yoga of knowledge. So from shloka up to shloka 10, Arjun is asking these questions, various questions, and questioning, how to do this, how to handle life, how to live, how to face, not very favorable situations in life. So from 1 to 10 of this chapter 2, it's all Arjuna's questions and his confusion. As we know, at the end of chapter 1, he was thoroughly confused, like any one of us. So every time we see that Arjuna Uvacha, Arjun said something, I can put my name. Arjun is confused, well, Sudha is confused, I'm confused in this world. So it's not a dialogue between Arjun and Shri Krishna, it's dialogue between me and Shri Krishna, because these are all my issues. Every day I'm going through these challenges and how to behave and what to do. So from 1 to 10 was just a general casual description in this chapter 2 of what the problem is, what the issue is, restatement of the issue. Sloka 11 to 46, and it's a long chapter with 72 slokas. So sloka number 11 to 46, it's just a description of what is this Atma, what is the relationship between self and the ultimate reality and all that. From 47 to 60, it is yoga of action, or what we call karma yoga. And from 61 to 70 slokas, they are bhakti yoga. And then the last two, number 71 and 72, are renunciation. It's a path of renunciation, which is sannyas yoga. So in other words, chapter 2 is like an essence of the whole Bhagavad Gita. He has covered everything in a synopsis, in a short. So as we saw at the end of chapter 1, Arjun is so confused, he's grief-stricken, and then the dandi, his bow falls out of his hand, and he refuses. He stands up and says, I'm not fighting anymore, Krishna, take me out of this battlefield. Those were his words. So he's casting off this. This means he's very weak now at heart, and it's called Hriday Daurbalyam. Your heart becomes very weak. You get tired of this life. You say, I'm getting out of this life. I'm done with this family, I'm done with this, I'm done with that job. So what is the Lord's response? He says, stand up and fight. This is not time to be. So he literally scolds him in that shloka, which is number 11. He says, give up this, uh, weakness of your hearts. Come on, stand up and go and fight. But then it's not that easy. We have gone through it. We have gone through all of this. So there are two things we have to do at that time that will help us if when we get in that situation that Arjuna was. First of all, we have to know what is my station. Am I a father? Then my responsibilities are to take care of my family. I can't say I'm going to run away. You guys are good for nothing. I think I'm wasting my time here. I'm going. We cannot take that attitude. So know what is your station in life. And the second thing we have to do is how to act in your station in life at that moment. You have to know what are my duties, what role I'm playing right now. Let's say I don't like the job that I'm in and I still have to feed my family. I can't just say I'm quitting the job tomorrow. I have to line up another job or something more solid, action plan. And then yes, quit this job, and even if you are getting a pay cut, go for that. So first I have to know what is my station in life and then what am I supposed to do at this moment. So when Arjuna is so upset and sad and he says, how can I throw the arrows at my own grandfather, my own teacher, do you think that's right? So he asked those kinds of questions to Krishna. And then he says, what should I do? Guide me, please, please, please. So at least he's surrendering. He's going to the Lord and asking for guidance. And that's the next thing we can do when we are in trouble. We should trust, someone who is more knowledgeable than me. Go to that person and ask for advice, professional advice, whatever, or sit quietly in meditation and ask God to guide me. When I surrender and I say, oh Lord, please guide me, it does. A message comes from within and we do get that message. All of us, we have experienced it. So now he's asking Krishna. He says, Shishyasteham shadi mam tvam prapannam. I am your disciple. Please teach me. Tell me what to do next. But I'm not going to fight. I don't want to fight, he says. So from Shloka 11 to 46, the Lord logically argues with him why he should fight. Same thing. What is your station in life and what is your responsibility at this moment? And can you throw away the bow and arrow? Can you throw away your gandhi and drive me out of the battlefield? No, you cannot. You are Kshatriya. It's your duty to protect the weak, the suffering people. And so stand up and fight. Do your duty. That's what Krishna has said. So very quickly, I'll go through Shloka number 11 to 21 so that the 22 will make more sense. So in Shloka 11, the Lord is now arguing, one argument at a time. The first argument is the wise people do not grieve neither for the living nor for the dead, he says. In Shloka number 12, his second advice comes. He says, there was no time when neither you were there nor I was there. We have been eternal. You were here all the time, I was here all the time. You just don't know about it. And the Lord says, I know about it, that we were both here. So means even if you shoot arrow and someone dies, that doesn't mean you have killed that person. Soul is eternal. That's the theme he's founding on one after other arguments. Then he says the body passes, in number 13, he says the body passes through 6 stages. And that is just the 6th stage, the last stage of body's behavior on this earth. So dhiraha means the person who is wise, who is balanced person. Na muhyati. They don't grieve. When someone dies, they know that the soul was here for a purpose, for that duration. This body was given for this work. The work is over. The person has gone to take on another next birth, next body. In number 14 and 15, his argument is heat and cold, pleasure and pain. All of the dualities are impermanent because wasn't it? It was so cold here 1 month back. Suddenly it's 85 and we are complaining it's too hot, it's too hot. So these things change. That's the nature of the things out there. And so these are dualities and nothing is permanent. Therefore, do not grieve for it. And have you heard of the slogan where it says, even this shall pass? You have heard of it, right? And there's a beautiful story on it. One wise man was passing through a king's kingdom, and then suddenly the king, receives him and says, I'm so unhappy. There is no rain for 3 years. Our people are dying without food. The sage says, even this shall pass. And then he goes away. 3 years later, he comes and everything is so much better, lots of rains, crops, richness, fun. So everything is going well. And when he comes, the king says, oh, this is going so well. He says, even this shall pass. So like that, the cycles of changes are coming and we just have to get used to it, accept it. So don't get too excited and sorry and sad and don't get too low. Don't get too thrilled and say, yeah, my son made it in the Harvard. Yeah, that's fine. But everything is, so much like bound to be changing. So don't just get stuck on it, he says. So do not depend on the sense objects or the sense things out there, to give you permanent happiness. So our trouble is we are looking for permanent joy through the impermanent means. That's where we go wrong generally. Right? And so he says the person who is able to take everything in a steady mood, that person is the winner. He reaches the immortality, he says. Then Shloka 16 to 18 is emphasizing on Nitya Vivek. Vivek means the sense of discrimination between what is permanent, what is changing, what is constantly changing. We have used that kind of discrimination, that the objects are illusory and they have not been there at the beginning and they will not be there at the end. So why do you grieve over those things, They are just passing, they're passing. Therefore, know that what is permanent and your own soul is permanent and no one can cause a destruction to that soul, so there is no need to grieve. So that's 16, 17, and 18. He says the bodies, yours and as well as others, have an end, right? While the self is eternal, indestructible, and incomprehensible. Therefore, do not grieve. So that was his next argument. He says, oh Arjuna, go and fight. Then sloka number 19 to 21 that probably you covered in the last class. So both, he says, both the one who is slaying or getting rid of someone's body and the one who is slain, they don't know that Nayam Hanti Nahanyate. No one can slay anyone and no one can slay it or nothing, it's all fixed. So the soul is not born, nor does it ever die. You have to remember that. He is unknown, eternal, changeless. He uses the words of Ajo Nityaha, Shashvatoyam Puranaha, in sloka number 20. The soul is permanent, Shashvat. It doesn't end, it never began, it never ends. And also it is permanent. Therefore, whoever knows him to be indestructible, eternal, unborn, and inexhaustible, how can that man slay or cause others to be slain? So know that, oh Arjuna, know that you are not, you are just an instrument. This is all. You don't kill them, someone else, I will find someone else to go and kill them. So this is all fixed, it's all destined. It's all happening, whether you cooperate now or don't. In other words, know that you are not doing it. It's all being done by itself. So in sloka number 22, now he starts bringing examples. Our logical mind doesn't accept a theory. We want to have a practical example in front of us. And Arjuna is a very educated, very learned, logical person. So now in sloka number 22, we start bringing the examples. The Lord has brought the examples and we will see them. So please repeat after me. Vasamsi jirna tata vihaya नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि chant it together. वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय अन्यानि संयाति नवानि. So he says, "Oh Arjuna, just as a man casts off his worn out clothes and puts on new ones, so also the embodied self casts off its worn out bodies and enters others which are new." Now, not necessarily always a person dies when he is old. Some very young people also die of cancer or something else. So here, the new doesn't mean the like really sick and worn out body. It means when for whatever purpose that body was given to that soul, when the purpose is over, the body has to cast off and new clothes. So for example, rich people, they buy a new car every year. They don't need to buy a new car. I can use it for 15 years, same car, but they change the house every year. They can, because they don't see any need for the old house, or they find something not right with that. So same with the body when it's, even if it's young. For example, Swami Vivekananda, he took off at the age of 32 because he finished all his work in 32 years. Bhagwan Shankaracharya, he left his body at 32. So when you are here on this earth for whatever duration of time, the body is here for that particular purpose for which it was given. When it is over, you go. That's the rule here. So it's not necessarily, Jirnani doesn't mean the old, like totally dilapidated body. It means when the work is over, it goes away. So this stanza is very famous, and it is used like very, very frequently everywhere to give the message that the body is not eternal, the body is perishable, the soul is eternal. And so we also change our iPhone. Do we need to change the iPhone every year? But when the new model comes, I have to have it in my hand, iPad, whatever. So yeah, that's what is about the body. When the body feels like the soul knows that it's not of much use. So here, very briefly, we will look at the theory of reincarnation. But we all know it, so I don't see if there is need to discuss it. But why is this body given to me, and why are these years given to me on the earth?
We have at some point to self-realized being. At the end is not, but we have to exhaust our existing past.
Yes. So imagine a jar of bubble gum, and you may have seen it in the mall. I still see it. It used to be everywhere in the USA, but now it's only in the mall. And you put a penny, or used to put a penny, now it's a dime or whatever, quarter, and one bubble gum comes out at the bottom, the jar, from the spout. So that jar of bubble gums is all my karmas that I have collected from many, many previous births. So I'm looking at the shiny gold ones at the top, and I'm saying, I want that one. But guess which one is going to fall? The one is closest to the spout, right, at the bottom. So many, many births back, because I have 8.4 million births, this soul that has come as Sudha, with this body of a woman, with this kind of hair, eyes, whatever I have, it's just one of 8.4 million birds. And not necessarily I was a human being every time. I was a maybe housefly. Or what is it? Yeah, 4 hour. My lifespan was 4 hours. I was born and I died in 4 years, 4 hours. Then I was a mosquito. I mean, whichever you can think of, went through all of that. So not necessarily I lived 100 years every time I was on this earth. So which means 8.4 million birds. Yes. And in Vivek Chudamani, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji says that among all the Jantu, he calls us Jantu, means an insect, a little animal, something. He says, Jantu naam nara janma durlabhatamaha. When you are born as a human being, consider yourself very fortunate. Very rarely you get a human body after collecting so many lives of punya karmas, then human body is formed. And among the humans, if you are a Brahmin and not Brahmin by birth, this is the very first shloka of Vivek Chudamani. It says not by birth, but if you have Brahminic attitude, like you want to study Vedanta, you want to know about God, you want to know who I am, why am I here, then you are more fortunate than million other people. And you can see it. Very few come and sit in Vedanta classes, or when Swami Ishwarananji comes, you hardly have 12 people, because not everyone is interested. But those who are here, they are really fortunate ones, like more fortunate than the others, or they have done more punyas than the others. And among them, if you find a guru, then oh my God, you are one of the most fortunate ones. Because even among all the people who study Vedanta, they don't have found a guru yet. They're searching for one. A guru hasn't come and accepted them as his disciple. And then 1 in a million will get the realization. So that's the reality. So all those karma phalas in the chart and all our vasanas, which are our tendencies from previous births, it all plays a big role. And so that form is the ultimate reality, but then those vasanas are really what is bringing me as a human body. So body, mind, intellect is given to exhaust all those vasanas. And as a result, when I'm here, I'm behaving in a crazy way, then that means I will add more karma phalas in that jar of bubble gum. But my goal is so exhausted, emptied so much that I don't have a next birth. Right now, my goal is this is my last birth. Oh Lord, please let this be my last birth. Then what will happen to all those bubble gums in the jar? With the fire of knowledge, by the study of Vedanta or Jnana Yoga, they will all be roasted. So they will be like roasted seeds. Roasted seeds don't germinate. There is no scope of it germinating ever again. So that's what will happen. So all these vasanas have to be exhausted one at a time, one birth at a time. But at least in this birth, let's make an effort not to add any more. Don't even add one more bubble gum in there. So how to do that? So karma yoga, when you do action without expecting any results, so very few mothers will add any karma phala, because when they raise the children, they go through so much of fathers also. I'm not just excluding fathers here, but our goal is to make sure the child, settles down in life and becomes independent and a good citizen. We don't want anything. We don't want even one penny from them. We don't even want a thank you from them. So when the parents do that, they're not adding any karma phalas there for raising that child. But when we expect something, I work at Chinmaya Mission, I do so much work, and I want everyone to say, thank you, you are so great, you did so much. That ego will add more karma phalas there. So when I serve karma yoga means you do the work, don't go for the results of the work. So the vasanas are the inherent tendencies and all the memories from previous births. They go stored in the unconscious mind, they come out. They make my personality, who I am in this birth, whether I'm sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, whether I'm like materialistic, I'm full of passions, this desire, that desire. Some people want to travel till the last minute. They're 85, 90 years old. They still want to go to Japan to see the cherry blossoms. And I'm saying, haven't you seen enough countries, and don't you see flowers in your own backyard? But they go to Japan also. And nothing wrong with it, okay? Don't get me wrong. your health is good, please go. But my point is, those are our vasanas that drag us to whatever we do. Like for me, it's always like do something for Chinmaya mission. That's also a vasana. It's a sattvic vasana, but still, even that has to go. And I should become an instrument in the God's hand, whatever He wants me to do. He wants me to go clean the toilets, then I should do that. So some people come here and they want to serve, I want to be teacher. But then they say, oh, I only want to teach the high school or higher kids. I don't want to teach little ones. No, then you are not here as a karma yogi. You do whatever you are expected to do. If we say sweep the floor, you sweep the floor. We means not me, but there's a need for someone to sweep the floor, then I will do that also. So that's what the theory of reincarnation is all about. They say to the point that the color of your eyes, the color of your hair, your height, your body, your features, everything is based on your previous birth karma phalas. Everything is fixed. So then what is the freedom here? So the freedom is to build new births, which are much better than what you. If you don't like this birth, then do something different. Or stop coming in mother's womb again and again. Get rid of that. Even that is so slimy and dark and wet, and you have to be there for 9 months. Come on. And the birth process is so painful. And then our Guruji Swami Tejomayananji said, you have to go to school again and study all that and get the college degree. Who wants to do it again and again? He says. So yeah, those past birth impressions are called vasanas, and they create this body, and the body will form again and again and again. Die, take new birth to fulfill more vasanas and then more vasanas. And we don't work on the bubble gum jar and try to exhaust them or get less and less in that. It's eternal cycle. So and so intelligently with karma yoga, you exhaust the vasanas. With bhakti yoga, with the pure devotion for the Lord, you exhaust the vasanas. With jnana yoga, you exhaust the vasanas. Is it working now? Okay. And we have to purify them, and then we have to eliminate them. So then why are there's so many problems in the world, like wars and poverty, and in Africa people are dying of hunger. What are the world problems? Okay, my life, my problems are because of my vasanas, right? I was supposed to learn something. I was supposed to learn that anger is not good for you. So then I'm surrounded by a family where everyone is angry, so angry, and so much of destruction. I watch it with my own eyes, and suddenly one day I said, I don't want to be angry. This is what anger does. So whatever, if I'm jealous, then Lord will put me in the situation where I'm jealous, so much jealous, and I see the destruction that I caused to myself through the jealousy. And one day I will say, I don't want to be jealous anymore. So whatever are my weaknesses, to fix them or to learn something, we are sent here. And if I choose not to learn it forever, then those same experiences will repeat birth after birth after birth. So the sooner we pay attention and work on them, the vasanas can be exhausted. All of them can be exhausted, and I can one with my creator. So that's the goal. So what are these world problems? Why are they? Whose vasanas are those? What do you think? The total vasanas, right? Like the Russia, so all the people of Russia, they have that kind of vasana that we want to dominate the Palestine or whatever is going on there. And so the total vasana of all the people, that's creating the world problems. Okay? All the individuals put together. So like in this room, all our vasanas right now are to study Vedanta. So we are here, right? So it's a total vasana that created this building, Chinmaya Mission. And that's that gave Chinmayananji Maharaj gave us the guidance on do this, study group, study this, do that. So we are doing it and we are teaching our children. So those are the ways to exhaust our vasanas. And then to reduce there is a two-way process. So the re-education of the intellect, and then the realigning of the mind. Those are the two things we have to do. So, for example, our prejudices, our passions, they are all veiling the true face of the uh, reality. So we have to get rid of our preconceived notions, particular sentiments, and our hungers and our prejudices and our passions, which are veiling the true face of the problem. So that is at the emotional mind level. And at intellectual level, we have to re-educate ourselves to follow the right values of life. So dharma and adharma and all that. So in this 20 sloka number 22 onwards, he's trying to re-educate intellectual aspect of Arjuna's mind. Okay, and he's teaching him what are the right values in life. So he's saying, see the permanent and abide in the truth and the beginningless reality. Don't fall for the changing and fleeting world, joys and pleasures and pains. And so like that, he's again and again hammering the fact that soul is eternal, body is impermanent, and then what is the eternal reality behind us and all that. The example is the waves and the ocean. So when the waves die, that's not the end of the ocean. Ocean remains perfectly as it is. The waves come and die. We don't grieve every time we are like on the beach and big waves come and they die. Do we start crying, oh my God, the wave is gone? No, we know it's the ocean. The wave was nothing but the ocean in a different form, and new wave will come. Similarly, when some person dies, it's not the end of that person's yatra or journey on this earth. So we should not grieve over it, but we should accept it as a fact of life. Just anything that is born, anything that's created will be destructed. And those who have realized this truth, they are always blissful and have no sorrow. There's nothing that makes them sad or unhappy. They accept change as the way of life. They accept heat and cold as two aspects of the same thing. And then, what am I supposed to do then? Well, just be the observer of the changes. Just stand aside and watch it as a parade. The life is going to happen no matter whether you are participating in it or not. So watch it and be aloof in yourself. Do as much as you can for the world, but then do your duties and then just step aside and watch it. And keep your balance, keep your poise, and try to be like same every time. Joy or lot of grief. Then all the existing vasanas will disappear. They will be exhausted. And you are not creating any more new vasanas. So that the bubble gum jar is going to be fully empty, hopefully in this birth. So the ocean is never born, nor does it grow, nor does it roll or dies. Just the waves that arise and swell and play and then they go away. Similarly, we just come as the illusions on the reality of permanent existence, which is the Satchidananda Swarup Brahman. And so we have to learn to discriminate between real and unreal. And that will never frighten us. And there are examples, like I have this one lady in Chicago, she one day called me a few years back and she says, Sudhaji, is anything wrong with me? My father died and I didn't feel sad. I said, no, nothing's wrong with you. You've been studying Vedanta for so many years. So you have accepted as a fact of life. You did the best you can do for your father all these years. You took care of him. He took care of you. And all those karma accounts are over between you and him. And he took off. His body was getting old and sick. So she was like worried, really worried. Is there something wrong with me? Why did I not cry when my father passed away? That's what Vedanta does to you, to understand what it's like. And you stop crying, That will not frighten us. It is as simple an act as the body wearing new clothes. So that was the number 22. Now let's go to number 23. If you have any questions, yeah, we will have our last 10 minutes. So you can write it down or wait on it. Achedyoyamadayoyam. Oh, 23rd, I'm sorry. नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकः न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापो न शोषयति मारुतः Chant it together. नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकः न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापः न शोषयति मारुतः. The thought continues. Weapons cleave it not, fire burns it not, water wets it not, wind dries it not. The soul is so indestructible, none of these forces of nature can touch it even. So body is not indestructible, but the soul is. So fire, water, and wind and weapons, those are the four known ways of destroying anyone's body, right? There is a tornado, there is a big tsunami came, a lot of people died. So water, fire, wind, hurricanes, and then weapons, of course. These are the four methods. And disease is different thing. Disease is also there when people die. But these are the four methods of the instrument that we know that mostly kill people or destruct the body. So Krishna is using those examples. So he's also again trying to convince the Arjuna through his intellect, his mind, he's giving these logical arguments. So we also have to remember that what is fire and water and air and weapons? Where do they get their power from? From the same eternal self. That same Brahman is even making them powerful. How can fire burn anything? If there was like Holika, she sat with her nephew, right, Prahlad, in the fire. Prahlad did not burn. Fire did not burn Prahlad. But Holika had a boon from the fire that I will never burn you. But because she was using her power for evil things, she burned. She burned right there and then into ashes, and Prahlad never burned. So fire cannot burn you unless the supreme reality gives power to fire to burn something. So we have to remember that fire, water, air also depend on that same supreme reality which keeps us alive, or which is me, myself. That's my real self. And so then how can they destroy their own source? Fire cannot destroy its source, which is Brahman, and my soul is eternal Brahman, so fire cannot destroy me, or anyone's soul for that matter. Because that Brahman, that original source is a lot more powerful than the fire, water, air, or weapons, So that was the argument he's using. We go to the number 24 now. So he's using a few examples to logically convince him that don't worry, even if you are fighting this war for dharma, you may seem to have killed your uncles and cousins. Their soul is indestructible. You are not doing a thing, you are not doing anything. So next one, number 24. Achedyoyam adahyoyam Apledyo shosya eva cha Apledyo shosya eva cha Nityah sarvagatah sthano Achaloyam sanatanah Together. Achedyoyamadavyoyam Apledyo shosya eva cha Nityah sarvagatah sthano Achaloyam sanatanah. The Lord is saying this self with capital S cannot be cut, nor burnt, nor wetted, nor dried up. It is eternal, all pervading, stable, immovable, and ancient. Those are the characteristics of this self. So it's just a continuation of sloka number 23, that it has no power to cut or burn or wet it or dry it up. And this self cannot be destroyed. It is eternal and it is all pervading. So it is eternal, we understand that part, right? For something that is not eternal, like this pen is not eternal. So it was born in a factory somewhere. Someone created it as a pen. It came, we used it, and then one day it will be destroyed. It will run out of the ink, and I will throw it in the trash, and they may or may not recycle it, and it will be gone. So whatever is not eternal, so these are anything that you can see, touch, smell, hear, or see, or all those five sense organs, they are not permanent. Anything that the sense can perceive, which is this tree, this board, these pictures, this pen, anything that you can see, hear, touch, smell, or taste is not eternal. Yeah. And the body is what we see it, right? Do we see the body? Do I see my own body? Yeah. And I call it my body, so I'm the owner. And body, I say my pen. So when the pen somebody stole, am I gone? Am I stolen? No. Similarly, when the body goes, it's my body, I'm the owner, body is the thing that I possess, it's gone, but I'm there, I'm not gone, when the body is gone. So that is called eternal. One that was always there, is there now, will there be ever. Is the self, and that is the pure consciousness. It is all pervading. What does the word pervading mean? So, Hansavan? Means everywhere. There is no place where it is not. Is it in here? This is Brahman. It's existence part of it. Existence part of Brahman. So Brahman has three aspects: Sat, Chit, Anand, right? We call it Satchidanand Bhagavan. So Sat means existence. So anything that is existing, oops, so this cup is also Brahman in the Sat means existence form. It doesn't have Chit. We have Chit. And the animals and little insects, they have Chit. So they have like little brain, even little insects have something, and they have the animals have feelings, your dog gets sad when you are gone. So these are the things that are there, but generally, Sat is there in everything that you see, hear, feel, touch, smell, think of, even that your thoughts are Sat, mind and intellect are Sat. So it's all pure consciousness, Brahman. So Brahman pervades everything. Chit is also Brahman. So all of us, we have Chit, and Anand, which is our true joy. Joy is our true nature. So we are all, in a sense, we are Brahman. So when we talk about Brahman or God, and we point there and say God, but I am that God. That's what the Vedanta is bringing us to that point, through the study of scriptures. Eventually, I know that I am that, and because of me, this whole world exists. Whatever I see around me, that tree is because of me. It's me. I am pervading everything. I am the Brahman, and that's the point we are trying to reach through the study of Vedanta. So, to create anything, we need three things. We need a material aspect of creation. We need the intellectual aspect. Someone has to know. So the potter and the pot, when he makes the pot, he has to have a potter's wheel, and he has to know how to make it, and he has to have a clay. Three things he needs. So material cause, and then intellectual cause, and the instrumental cause. The three are needed. When the world was created, all the three is Brahman. So the material cause, he himself has become everything that we see, hear, touch, or even think of, the mind, intellect, body, everything is Brahman. So material cause is Brahman, intellectual cause is Brahman, because he created it, and the instrumental cause is also Brahman. So there is no other outside material was used. He just appears as this word of names and forms and function. So everything is pervaded with Brahman. That's what the word pervasive means. Brahman pervades everything. So he's all pervading. He's stable, means the base is so firm, so solid, it will not even shake or move, no matter how much of earthquake takes place. And then it is immovable. So the tree is stable at the bottom, but it is movable at the top, right? When the wind comes, it goes, its ways. But this Brahman is not even movable. It is steady and it is stable and it is immovable. And it is ancient, Puranaha. So he's using all these words in this sloka number 24. Nityaha, Sarvagata is all pervading. Nityaha means it is eternal. Sarvagata is all pervading. Sthanuhu is stable. Achalaha is immovable. And Sanatanaha means ancient. It was always there. It is here. It is there. I was not always there. I am here now. I will not be there. After what? Today, maybe, whenever. Time comes, we go away. So that's what it is. So same continuation of thought it was from stanza number 24. We'll quickly look at number 25 and then we will have some time for question and answer. So let's chant it first. Avyaktoyamachintyoyam avikaryoyamuchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushocitumarhasi together. Avyaktoyamachintyoyam avikaryoyamuchyate tasmadevam viditvainam nanushocitumarhasi. The meaning here is, and this is also pretty much continuation of the same argument. The Lord says this self is said to be unmanifested, unthinkable, and unchangeable. Therefore, knowing this to be such, you should not grieve. He's advising Arjuna to stop grieving about how am I killing my father, my grandfather, and my teacher and my cousins. Stop doing that, he says. Why? Because this self is unmanifest, avyaktaha. So can I see the self that is within me? Can I see it? So I have a seed, right? I have an oak seed. Do I see the tree in it? But tree is in the seed, right? When I plant the seed and in proper environment, water, heat, it goes into a big, huge oak tree out of that little seed. But do I see the tree inside the seed when I break it open? Do I see the tree? No. So it is avyakta. The tree is avyakta, means unmanifested, but it is there. I cannot doubt it. Just plant it and you will get a tree. So avyakta means unmanifested, and then achintyaha means it is unthinkable. So I sit in meditation and I say, I want to see Brahman. So if I say I want to see my pen, then the pen picture comes in the mind. I want to see a rose, so a red or yellow or purple rose comes in the mind. I want to see a bird, so I can see the bird. So anything that has form and name will come, but Brahman doesn't have a form, right? It is formless, right? And there is no shape, there is no form, there is no limit to the Brahman. It's just all pervading, and it is just there, Satchidananda Swarup Brahman. So that is what it is meant by achintyaha. None of the sense organs will ever even feel or perceive it. You have to go in meditation, and eventually you go beyond the mind and intellect, And eventually, then you will have a intuitive experience of it inside of you. It's not going to happen through intellect even. That's why in our scriptures, in Vedanta, it is said that go beyond the mind. The mind has to be dead, mind has to be no mind. That's what Rama Maharshi says. All the sages are saying that make it a no mind, no thought, nothing. It should not be even existing. Mind should merge. So the sense object should merge into senses, senses should merge into the mind should merge into the intellect during the meditation, and the intellect should go and merge into the Hiranyagarbha or whatever is that brilliant, bright form of the consciousness. And therefore, it is achintyoyam. Cannot think of it. What it looks like, no one knows. There is no shape. Avikaryaha means it is unchangeable. And it is what it is. And it is. So it will never change. Again, same thing. And then Tasmat, therefore, O Arjuna, having known him like that, it doesn't behoove you to grieve. Why are you grieving? You know that this eternal, permanent, unchangeable, immovable, unthinkable, whatever are the attributes of that Brahman, is not going to be destroyed by a little fight or war, he's saying. So, are we promoting violence? Is Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma promoting wars and stuff? Is that the message we are getting from them? No. But fight for adharma. When something wrong is going on, then you have to do your duty. So Kshatriya's duty is to it is unmanifested until the body. So don't ever think that you will see the Lord right in front of you and you will say, hey God, how are you? That's not going to happen. When we read in Puranas that someone XYZ saw Lord Vishnu, it literally doesn't mean Lord Vishnu was there with Shankhya Padma in his hands and in that form. Means in their mind, in the heart of their hearts, with purity of the heart, clarity of thinking, they perceived the Lord. They experienced it. That's what it is. But for the general public who does not study Vedanta, and I'm not saying we are better than them, in no way I'm better. I'm no better than Ariel Bhakta. Actually, they are much better than me. And if they see Lord Vishnu in his form, it's possible if that's how they want to see it. But in Vedanta, we believe that the only way to experience God is within yourself with that mindset where mind is not there at all. And because it is the very subject of what our sense organs are seeing, so that's why. So with that, let's have any questions, anyone has, or anything you want to add? Yes.
Part of my question is about talking about my patient. I have a particular person that says, no matter what, you can tell me to envision a pen or the beach. I can't do it. What is an appropriate response for that individual?
So when you say meditate, when I say let's meditate, what is the goal?
It is to
quiet, so quiet, like the lake that has no ripples, zero.
Right.
That's how quiet. Right. So if you don't visualize a pen, is it going to create any problem? No. So whatever form, so we were sitting in this big hotel in downtown Chicago, and the Swadhyay people, their Pandurang Shastri, he was there. And so he was giving an example in his speech. He said, a farmer comes to me and says, they call him Dada. Dada, I cannot meditate on the Lord's form or on the Jyoti I'm supposed to see or whatever. He says, what should I do? Only my buffalo comes in my mind because he's attached to his buffalo. He says, then meditate on buffalo. Because the goal is to focus the mind. meditation, beginning part of the meditation is to focus it so much that nothing else will come to it. So this is a good training. Let me focus on whatever. Yeah. Okay.
I think a couple of people come to it. Very hard to control the thoughts go haywire. Close your thing. This is a panchavasa, the five senses you try to touch. So whatever helps, either you close your eyes, close your ears, only that you can do. So you can just think, initially it is hard to not to have any thoughts or any concentrate on thoughts, but to pay attention to the smell that you, or the sound that you're hearing. Later, as time goes on, you get to hear the buzzing noise, or you may hear the ohms. But that I haven't gone there yet. I just started thing, so that's my feeling. They say you can concentrate on any God picture that you if you're praying to the Lord Krishna, and that's what comes up, you just concentrate on. And that's what Anil used to tell us also. So concentrate on the color and my question is, first question was.
So can I repeat to those who are on the line? So the question was, one of her friends or someone that she knows wants to know that I can't focus, bring that picture of the pen or Lord Krishna's picture in my mind when I sit down and meditate upon. So what's your name? Tilak. She is saying that at that point, if the smell is disturbing you, if that keeps coming, then just let it come, and focus on that. And apparently Anilji has also said that whatever comes, just focus on that one thing, but cut out the peripheral noise, let everything else disappear, so that you learn how to focus, right? Okay. What's your next question?
The first question, my thing was, you say aham brahmasmi, right? Aham or ham brahmasmi? Because ham means me, aham means no me. There is no myself, right? It's just the soul that's all pervading it. Aham is the right
No, aham, when we use it as ahamkar, means ego, or in Vedanta, it's not ego as like I'm better than you, not that kind of ego, but aham there means my awareness that I am. So you are sitting on a chair, you know that you are sitting on a chair. Does the chair know you are sitting on it? Your chair knows that you are sitting on it? No.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, they say even the not living objects, they do have
The Sat aspect, we just discussed it, right? Sat, Chit, and Anand are the three aspects of Brahman. So non-living things are Brahman in the Chit aspect only. Sat and Anand is missing there. In us, Sat and Chit, both Chit is knowledge or awareness that I am. So the minute we wake up in the morning, you know who you are. I'm a mother, I'm a worker in this company, everything comes back to you. And then you get ready and do your day and then go to sleep. And in sleep, everyone reaches that Brahman state. Everyone, rich, poor, sinner, no sinner, everyone becomes same Brahman. But when we wake up, the only difference between deep sleep and samadhi is that when we are in samadhi, we know that we are in samadhi, that I am Brahman. In deep sleep, it's avidya, ajnan, we don't know that I was with Brahman at that point. So in that case, everything is Brahman, but the chair does not know that you are sitting on it, believe me. And I'm glad it doesn't, because it won't let you sit. It will say, no, this is Mr. Brown's chair, get out, you can't sit here, I'm glad it's not. So, but look at your hand, everyone look at your hand. So you know you are looking at your hand. Does the hand know that you are looking at it? No. This body is insentient. Body itself is just the Sat Swarup, right, Hansalan? So when a person dies, it is still Brahman. Dead body is also Brahman in the Sat Swarup, but Chit has gone. The awareness has left. And Anand only comes when there is awareness. So Satchidanand, and such a common, we always sing all these bhajans, Satchidanand and this and that. So that's what Brahman is all about. So we need to know the deeper meanings of it. And yes, so aham means that awareness, not anything else. Sanskrit, aham, idam, like that, these are the words we use. So aham brahmasi, and suddenly, aham meaning in Sanskrit is meaning.
So it's the aham brahmasmi that I am.
aham that you are talking of ahankar is different thing. But in Sanskrit, aham means me. Aham balika, aham yeah, I'm a woman. So aham is me. So aham Brahma means I am.
So, which means you're saying that you have the Brahman inside you, so you better treat it this
Not
way.
inside me.
Brahman is
I
everywhere.
am.
I am Brahma myself.
I am Brahman. I am that pure consciousness is me. Because how can I talk? How can you hear if I'm not consciousness? The consciousness that reflects in the intellect level is what makes me Brahman. I'm part of that awareness. And when I'm done with all the cycles of birth and death, and all my vasanas are exhausted, I'm back to my Brahman mode.
That's what is the next question. The question or the thought. We say soul is it's unchangeable. It's the same.
It's the same.
It's
There
the
is no
same.
second even. That's why it's Advaita. It's one thing. And so everything is Brahman.
So when you say that, and then we say, okay, we are born with the vasanas. We have the good karmas that we did and the bad karmas. So you do both in each life or birth or whatever, in whatever form you are. Be a mosquito,
Both.
be an animal, be a human being, whatever. So they say you have to exhaust both, not just the bad karma, not
No,
the good
no,
karma.
both. So human body, Swami Tejamananji says, is formed when 50% good karmas drop in that outer bubble gum jar and 50% bad, 50-50, boom, a human body, baby is born. Well, baby is formed in someone's womb. 50-50. So yes, if anyone says my life is bad, miserable, there is 50% good is going on, you don't notice it. That's it.
Nobody is 100%.
Nobody is 100% happy or 100% unhappy. It's there, 50-50. It's a math.
In our rebirths, we say, okay, depending on whatever you want, what was not fulfilled in that birth.
Yes,
You
vasanas.
achieve that, you get that in the next birth. God
That's
says,
the
okay,
way.
you know, like he said to Jnana Sambandhan, he said, okay, you were just spending some Sundara, he tells him, you are paying attention to the Sundara, so you will not fulfill that. When you're here, you shouldn't have any other. Go back to earth and then finish that and then come back to me.
Yeah.
He says, no, I'm happy here. Go there. So that is the reason that we are born with what unfulfilled desires, what we had in the previous
Exhaust
birth,
them.
to exhaust them.
Exhaust them.
Yeah, then how do we say that the soul is ever not changing? One minute
Soul
I was
comes,
an animal.
comes as that body. So animal yoni is the karma fal bhog yoni. You have to exhaust all of. So if you had done a lot of good karmas, you are a dog in White House. And if you haven't done so many good karmas, you are a dog on the street in India that everyone beats you up. But dog is a dog, has come to exhaust all the karma phalas. Same with human body, except the dogs don't have the intelligence to discriminate and to go beyond the vasanas and to merge. I can merge with Brahman next moment. It's a 30-second process. Exactly 30 seconds you can be a Brahman right now in here. If the mind has reached that place where it's purity of mind, clarity of thinking, it's very instantaneous. So, but yeah.
Don't create karma.
Huh?
Animals don't create karma. They're just there to
Exhaust whatever was given. And we create karmas.
create.
So we have to be very aware of how we behave. Even at thought level, if I hate someone, bubblegum is dropping in that jar right now. I don't have to go out and beat up someone. I hated someone, been dropped in the jar. So that's why our behavior has to be we have to be very alert, very conscious, and just, do it in such a way that at least don't add any more karma phalas, And then how to exhaust them, different ways, karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, follow all of that meditation practices, whatever helps. I'm not suited for bhakti yoga that much. I cannot give a back to my little Krishna statue every day, but there are people who that they live for that. They wake up in the morning, they wake up Lalaji, they give bath, they put the best clothes, they decorate, the whole day goes into it. They feed, breakfast, lunch, dinner, put him to rest in the afternoon. In that Jagannath Puri temple, even once in a year for 8 days or so, the Jagannath Bhagwan gets a fever. Yeah, for 1 week he has fever and this special aushadhi is brought and he will is given tada to get rid of the fever and no one can have darshan, only the priest, certain priest can go and take care of him and he's covered with blankets and so yeah. So we see the real God in that. So that's the bhakti yoga, yes. But it all depends on, what is your attitude, what is your frame. If you are very emotional, you are a bhakta, bhakti yoga. If you are very intellectual, you go on jnana yoga. If you are rajasic, go karma, then you go to karma yoga.
There are a lot of people who think like the vegans, they feel like they are even getting the milk process that is being done, they are against it. So then they get criticize, "Hey, God, you guys are putting pictures and videos of all this milk abhisheka and South India, the abhisheka is not part of this thing, it's not actually
Yeah.
deity." And then so they say, you that's one aspect. The other aspect is you're wasting all this, it can be used to some of the
Give it to poor people.
Even to poor, like the juices or the. But then, like you say, you're doing it with love and you're doing it with that, and then in that you're saying you're treating the deity or whatever it is as God, and then you're doing what you do.
You experience that he's sitting there accepting your, yes, there are bhaktas who are so emotionally attached to their Bhagwan, that Bhagwan has to come and accept whatever they are offering food and they believe that God is eating them. I think we need to have,
We will be like Mehta.
yeah. So many Bhakta Kavi, yeah, my hats off to them. But I'm not emotional, so I cannot be that much of a Bhakta.
So who's to say which is right and which is wrong?
No, you can never say I'm better, Bhakti Maharaj is better than Jnana Maharaj. I think they're all, as Vimalji, who used to come here to give lectures for discourses, he said they're like 4 lanes on the highway. Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So we switch lanes. In a day, we can be a Bhakta, we can be a Jnani, we can be a Karma Yogi. We can practice all the three. No one is better than the other one. They all take to the same goal. I think we better conclude this 12:15. So, Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Karshit Bhagabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.